A coronavirus party is a gathering with the alleged intention of catching COVID-19. The existence of this phenomenon is disputed outside of the United States. For example, in the Netherlands, the term coronavirus party or similar may refer to a regular party that is organized during the COVID-19 pandemic but without any intention of spreading the virus. As the party occurs during the COVID-19 pandemic, it may involve breaking existing regulations and restrictions to prevent COVID-19 infections. Andy Beshear, the governor of Kentucky, reported that young people were taking part in parties and testing positive for COVID-19. The partygoers intentionally got together, thinking they were invincible, and purposely defying state guidance to practice social distancing, he said. A CNN headline on the 25th of March 2020 stated, "A group of young adults held a coronavirus party in Kentucky to defy orders to socially distance. Now one of them has coronavirus." On the same day NPR published the headline, "Kentucky has 39 new cases. One person attended a coronavirus party." Both headlines misrepresented the content of the article and the quotes they used from Beshear, who did not mention intentional parties for catching COVID-19, but that young people were attending parties and becoming sick with COVID-19. On the 6th of May 2020, the Seattle Times reported that Megan the Bold, director of the Department of Community Health in Walla Walla, Washington, said that contact tracing had revealed people wanting to get sick with COVID-19 and get it over with had attended COVID parties. The Bold is quoted as saying, "We ask about contacts, and there are 25 people because we were at a COVID party." An opinion piece for the New York Times by epidemiologist Greta Bauer on the 8th of April 2020 said she had heard rumblings about people hosting a version of chickenpox parties to catch the virus. Rolling Stone states that Bauer did not cite direct evidence of the existence of these parties. The New York Times reported on the 6th of May 2020 that stories such as the Walla Walla COVID party may have been more innocent gatherings, and county health officials retracted their statements. On the 23rd of June 2020, Carson Lee Davis was said to have died from COVID-19 at the age of 17 after her mother took her to a COVID party at her church. Despite Carson having a history of health issues, including cancer, however, according to the coroner's report, there is no mention of a COVID party, just a church function with 100 children, where she did not wear a mask and where social distancing protocols were not followed. According to David Goski, writing for Science-Based Medicine, the church party was called a release party, and there is no evidence that the party was held so that people could intentionally catch COVID-19. Some news agencies considered COVID-19 parties to be a myth. Rolling Stone called shaming people on the internet for not properly socially distancing their favorite new American pastime. They state that these headlines are meant to be virally shared, and considered the reality to be that young people had simply attended parties where they caught COVID-19, rather than deliberately attending them to contract COVID-19. Rolling Stone attributed the popularity of the stories to generational animosity, and said that the coronavirus party stories gives people cooped up in their homes a reason to pat themselves on the back and congratulate themselves for their own sacrifices. The Seattle Times article from Walla Walla backtracked the day after publishing their COVID party story by stating they may not have been accurate. Wired reported on supposed college students in Tuscaloosa, Alabama throwing parties with infected guests, then betting on the contagion that ensues. Quote, "They put money in a pot and they try to get COVID," said City Council member Sonia McKinstry, who was the story's lone source. "Whoever gets COVID first gets the pot. It makes no sense." Wired says that these stories spread like a game of telephone with loose talk from public officials and disgracefully sloppy journalism. It is, of course, technically impossible to rule out the existence of COVID parties. Maybe somewhere in this vast and complex nation, some foolish people are getting infected on purpose. It's also possible that the miasma of media coverage will coalesce into a vector of its own. inspiring COVID parties that otherwise would not have happened. But so far there's no hard evidence that even a single one has taken place. Just a recurring cycle of breathless, unsubstantiated media coverage. Investigator Benjamin Radford researched the claims from the media and stated that there was nothing new to these stories, and that the folklore world has seen stories of people believing that being inoculated against smallpox may turn people into cows. These stories cycle through social media and include poisoned Halloween candy, suicide-inducing online games, Satanists, caravans of disease,